In his historical analysis of the review process, the Chief Justice, His Lordship Desmond Babatunde Edwards, noted that the process since its inception by the setting up of the Dr. Peter Tucker Constitutional Review Commission has undergone a checkered history. He continued to note that the recommendations from both the Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma administration in its unpublished white paper as well as the Justice Kawan Constitutional Review Committee were both pertinently considered by the technical committee set up by His Excellency Dr. Julius Maada Bio.
The current government of His Excellency retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Maada Bio, being seized of these documents, saw the need and did set up a technical committee for reviewing both the recommendations of the Justice Kawan Constitutional Review Committee and the unpublished white paper. The technical committee set up by the President has now reviewed both documents, to wit, the recommendations of the Justice Kawan Constitutional Review Committee, together with the unpublished white paper of the erstwhile government. And what we are witnessing here today is the recommendation of the technical committee, which Cabinet has now accepted, reduced into a white paper, which is being launched today.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator, Dr. Babatunde Awusin, said the occasion was important for the future of Sierra Leone and its democratic considerations, peace-building and state-building processes. He commended President Bio for the launch of the white paper, which he said represents the conclusions of the internal phase of the constitutional review process and the opening of a new stage of the process.
All the thematic issues of the 1991 Constitution relating to the executive, legislative, judiciary, issues of information and communication, fundamental principles of state policy and human rights, citizenship, local government, and natural resources were thoroughly debated upon. The report that resulted from this remarkably inclusive effort was delivered by late Justice Kawan to former President Koroma on the 24th of January 2017. We know that the government paper was subsequently released in November 2017, which rejected about 100 of the recommendations of that report out of 134.
The Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Abbas Bondo, said the country had had a constitutional democracy since she recovered her independence from Britain, adding that the promotion and maintenance of peace, security, order, and good governance was the primordial duty of the organs of state, including the Parliament, which he said had the sole mandate to make laws in the country.
And I would like to do so solely from the perspective of Parliament by making 6 cardinal points. First, that Sierra Leone is a constitutional democracy and has been, for the most part, since she recovered her independence and sovereignty from Britain in April 1961. The promotion and maintenance of peace, security, order, and good government in Sierra Leone is a primordial duty of every organ of state, including Parliament, the organ in which solely the power to make law.
The President, in a submission, said recently he had worked with the Parliament, the Judiciary, development partners, and civil society organizations to implement over half a dozen of key governance and legislative imperatives outlined in the Truth and Reconciliation Report, the TRC. He also recalled that his government had also established a standalone Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs and introduced policies and laws to protect and promote the rights of children and women, adding that a gender empowerment and equality law was already in Parliament while they reviewed the Child Rights Act.
Today, we will address gaps, discrepancies and inconsistencies in our 1991 Constitution that the TRC report identifies as triggers of conflict and bad governance. Especially in the decade preceding 2018, we witnessed unconstitutional intrusions on matters of the rule of law and on the protection and the promotion of rights and liberties guaranteed in our Constitution. Executive privilege and powers were loosely defined and used. Inclusion and equality were not guaranteed in law, not to mention in practice. There are significant gaps in access to the essential elements of a thriving democracy: access to fundamental rights, protection, justice, resources, and opportunities. Matters of citizenship were not clearly defined and were a basis for exclusion and discrimination. In the New Direction Manifesto, we bemoaned the countless breaches, infractions, and abuses by President Nkrumah and his All People's Congress Party, including the sacking of an elected vice president of our nation.
The event held at the Lowered inside State House was attended by diplomatic community members who serve on the review process, representatives of political parties, parliamentarians, women organizations, non-governmental organizations, civil society groups, and pupils from secondary schools. For Star TV News, I am Judge Elliot Sam reporting.